do on this problem. A GCF. What is the GCF? Or that may not feel like the two did that much, but are the factors of 8 and 21 much better than the factors of 16 and 42? You have to. Otherwise, it's not completely factored. If you do slide and divide, it is even more important that you factor your GCF out at the beginning. No, Kyle, I said you have to. You could theoretically do it at the end, like in your two parentheses, you could go back and go, oops, there's a GCF there, and factor it out at that point. With slide and divide, you can't, because it completely gets divided out completely. So if you do slide and divide, a couple of you do that, you have to do the GCF first. It's not a big deal because I want you to do the GCF first anyway, but for you, it's even more important. So everyone who does slide and divide, you know the thing where you divide the thing you multiply by? Raise your hand if you do that method. You too? Okay, so you have to. Alright. 1 and 8, 2 and 4, this part you can do it however you do it. I want to subtract to get 53. 56 minus 3. 8 times 7, 56 and 3. Now yesterday I went through every single one every time. You'll notice as you get better at this, you can start to pick those out a little quicker. So 8, oops, sorry, wrong one. 3 and 56, right? 8 times 7 is 56. 3 times 1 is 3. 56 minus 3 is 53. Questions about that? Is it okay if you have to check multiples before you got there? 8x and x, 3 and 7. We do have different signs, so one is a plus and one is a minus. You have a question?
Yeah, I was just you did like the sides of like, does it matter which one you do, like one is not?
No.
Okay.
As long as you do one of them, so if, say you hadn't done this, but you had done this the other way, you would have picked these two, and your answer would have been which is the exact same thing, just flipped around. Okay, good question. We know they're opposite because of the negative. So I know one's a plus and one's a minus. Now the way I do it is I think I want the 53 to be negative. Okay? So the 56 needs to be negative. So that when I do negative 56x plus 3x, that combines to give me negative 53. Now I'm doing that in my head, but say you're stuck and you're like, I don't know where to put them. Put them somewhere, plop them down, put them there. Foil the inner and outer terms. If it doesn't work out, switch them back, try again. So you got a 50-50 chance. It's not like we're going to have to put 100 things down and check. So you just have to put one thing down, and then if it doesn't work, switch it to where it does. Does that make sense? Okay. The only notes for today are some steps. And the steps with stars by them, you don't have to write down. I want to mention that you don't have to write them down. We're not covering them right now in this class. So we're going to look at all different factoring problems all together. The hard part of that is then you go, oh, which one do I do? note to you, if you do go on to pre-cal someday or something like that, there is another method with 2 terms, but we're not going to do it. It's not in the college algebra curriculum, so you don't need to know it. So for our purposes, if we have 2 terms and it's not a difference of perfect squares, it just doesn't factor. Okay? What are the qualifications to have a difference of perfect squares? Someone remind me. Has to be subtraction. Good. The 2 terms have to be perfect squares. If you have subtraction and 2 perfect squares, we'll do difference of perfect squares. If we have 2 terms and don't have that, you can't factor it. So that's the end on difference of squares. If there are 3 terms, we're going to unfoil. And then again, C is starred, so you don't have to know it. If there are 4 terms, to factor something with 4 terms, you would factor by grouping. Y'all may remember how to factor by grouping. Again, it's not going to come up right now in this class, so for now you don't need to know it. So the double stardoms are factoring techniques that you don't need to know yet. The sum and difference of cubes we won't do in this class at all. We'll pick up grouping at some point. Sum and difference of cubes we won't do. So there are essentially 2 things. If there are 2 terms, see if it's a difference of perfect squares. If there are 3 terms, we're going to unfoil. Any questions? You're going to pass out your homework. That's all I have for you. So we're just going to practice factoring with multiple factoring factors. I do want you to do all of them, but you have all class to do. So there are 21 problems. You have all class to work on it. Hopefully you don't end up with very much we did. Use this time to ask me lots of questions. If you do have questions on a certain method that you do that's different than mine, I'm sure that I can figure it out and answer your questions. So now's a good time to ask me questions and work.